We will continue with this weekend's O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 media availabilities here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are joined by Martin Truex Jr., the driver of the number 78 Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boats Toyota. Martin is currently third in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series point standings with a race win, and he also has 4 stage wins, which is the most of any driver this season so far. Martin, you've obviously figured out the new stage format. You've also collected 63 points towards the series standings with those 4 stage wins, and you're up to 9 playoff points. We'll keep it simple. Just tell us what's clicking for you under the new format.
I think it's really not doing anything different, but consistently running up front, leading laps, and trying to perform well is kind of what the stage point system rewards. We were able to do that last year, and we were hopeful this year that it would pay off, and so far it has. So, certainly we've had a few weeks here and there where we haven't been quite as good as we wanted to, but overall I think the start to the season's been solid. Need to find a little more consistency, but all in all, the stage racing has gone well. It's been fun. Added a little kink to things, and fortunately for us, we've been able to get some points out of it, so it's been good.
All right, we will start with questions. We'll go to Lee in the middle, and then Chris.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. When they first introduced the stage races, I thought this is going to go right into Cole Pern's wheelhouse, because it just seems like he's the type of guy that would be thinking, okay, how do we rack up these points? Is that an accurate assessment? And secondly, can you talk about what Eric Jones has brought to the company with the two of you working together now?
Yeah, I think the first part of it, I think Cole's always thinking of ways to find advantages no matter what the situation. So I mean, you dangle some points out there in front of him, he's going to try to figure out a way to get them. I think, but for the most part, it's really just been pretty straightforward as far as if you're running up front, you're in position to take advantage of those stages. I think Martinsville last weekend was the first time we've actually kind of gambled on one of them to get that first stage win. We weren't the best car. Some guys had pit road penalties. We stayed out. It worked out. We got that first stage win. So that was really the first time we've kind of done something a little different, just to try to get them, and was successful at that. So we'll see how it plays out. Every week's different. Every day, every stage I feel like is different just because of what's going on around you. So it's definitely some opportunities there to take chances sometimes, and we'll see how that all plays out. But second part of your question, I think still kind of new, the whole thing, with Eric in the 77, but I really haven't felt it change things. And I think I talked earlier in the season about that being a good thing, that I feel like we've not lost anything by going to 2 cars, which in some cases we've seen in the past guys expand teams and they struggle for a little while just because of the focus it's taken off of their original car. So I think more than anything so far, nothing's really changed, and those guys fit right in with us, and everything has really gone smoothly as far as I can tell. So from my point of view, that's really been the difference, is just there really hasn't been a difference.
Yeah. We'll go to Chris, and then to Bob, and then to Jim.
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com. Martin, I was just curious if you felt like that this morning's practice was enough practice time, or would you like to see you guys get on track yesterday to get the track worked in before qualifying later today?
I thought that practice was enough. I just wish the racetrack was clean, when we got here. And, it's so difficult with the lime they put down or whatever the stuff is they use on the racetrack, that, the groove was really, really narrow. And we seen as soon as guys started pushing it, qualifying trim, especially at the end of practice, they, get out of the groove just a little bit, you're done. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it's so slippery. So I wish that the track was clean, and then would have been plenty of time to practice. I don't think that practice time is an issue. Just we got to clean racetracks before we get on them and try to run 200 miles an hour. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's going to get better, but the problem is if the groove itself keeps getting better and better and better as we run in it. The faster you're going in the groove, the faster you're going when you get out of it. And that's no better than it was this morning. So that is the real problem. You jump that cushion, you get out of the groove, you're going to be going way too fast to get it slowed down before crashing. So it's a big problem. I mean, it's something that I don't know who makes those calls to leave the racetrack that dirty, but it's an issue.
We'll go to Bob, and then to Jim.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. Are you wearing any of the watches or anything that that calculate your heart rate and stuff
I am.
during a race?
I actually have a few times. I've not wore every week, but a few weeks in a row I did wear it.
Has it told you anything? Have you learned
It's
anything?
told me that I'm in great shape, and I actually wore it when I won Vegas, and it's crazy to look at just to see how kind of the cautions play into it, and you just kind of see as your race goes what it does to your heart rate and what things are going on. But aside from that, I mean, I think for me it wasn't really like a training device or anything. It was just more fun just to see what everything looks like and how it was going.
Up front.
But I am in great shape, by the way, Bob. Yeah.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. You've obviously in the last couple of years had opportunities to win the championship, but I just wondered in your career, where does your and your team's performance at the Coca-Cola 600 rank in terms of your Cup career in a race, particularly in a series that is so ultra competitive?
I mean, just thinking back on what we did that night, that whole weekend, really, it's amazing to think that, we did something no one's ever done. As long as this sport has been around, to lead more laps, more miles of a race than anyone ever has is crazy, especially in today's day and age with the competition being so close, the cars being so similar. So, yeah, I mean, it's up there at the top of anything we've ever done, anything I've ever been a part of. So it's definitely cool to look at. And, I've watched the replay, I think, twice now, once right after, and then sometime it was on again, and I caught it. So it's still pretty amazing to see just how that race played out.
We'll come up front and then go over to Drew.
Sure. Ward Fasold from Race Week. You mentioned how you and Eric Jones, nothing really has changed. Have you taken advantage of any data sharing now that you have a teammate, especially with some of these repaved tracks? What do you see here or there?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we do every week, and, looking at data and things. And I say nothing's really changed. That's really a compliment to him and to his team because, he's done such a good job. They've done such a good job. You're like, oh, yeah, he's a rookie, but, he's doing good and everything's fine. I mean, it's really impressive to watch how those guys do it. And he goes to racetracks, and it seems like he's been there before. So I guess, I'm kind of playing it off as not much has changed when it's really kind of a huge deal, for those guys. And it's a huge compliment to them just by being able to say it's not a big deal for them. So, yeah, it's been cool. But all that data sharing stuff, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants, most importantly. He knows what he's looking for, and feels the car out well. And in our debriefs and things, really, kind of knows what he's talking about. And it's real easy to buy into his information and use it if needed. So it's been good.
We'll go over here to the far left to Drew.
Martin, Drew Davison with the Forward Star Telegram. Clint Boyer was in here earlier talking about how he's kind of resurrected his career, and just kind of wanted to get your take on that, especially with your guys' history and the itch incident, and kind of what you think of how he's been able to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel, feel his pain at the last couple of years. It's, I understand what he went through, but yeah, it's definitely good to see him back. He's such a cool guy, nice guy, friend of mine, and nice to see him having success. And like I say, I know what it's like to have those tough years and try to battle through it, and people kind of write you off and think you forget how to drive. But it's cool to see him competitive again. I've enjoyed racing with him the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure we won't be the last we see of old Boyer this year.
Any final questions for Martin? All right, Martin. Well, thanks for joining us. Good luck
Yep,
this weekend.
Thank you.